Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at Claydol with the new move Scorching Sands in the Psychic Cup. Psychic Cup going to be available now for 2 weeks, starting in a few hours, actually 7 hours from when you are seeing this video. So this is going to be very interesting. This team here right now is built around the Claydol with the new move Scorching Sands. This is going to give it a little bit of an upgrade, at least compared to what it had before with Earth Power, because it's now going to be able to get to this move a little bit faster, which is very good for Claydol, as you're only going to have a Mud Slap as your best fast move here, which is not really known for generating energy fairly fast. So here right now, we're actually going to take the L here against the Slowking, but we can use this one now to generate a lot of energy with our Victini. Victini in general, very underrated Pokemon, very strong Pokemon indeed in this current meta for the Psychic Cup, as they're going to now be able to swap out into the Rapidash. They go into their Raichu. I will be able to go for my Body Slam, get the shield from the opponent, and now I'm going to use a shield. I can go for the Mega Horn. I don't even use a shield, I'm just going to go straight for the Mega Horn and get the easy knockout against the Raichu from the opponent, as we will see the Melamark swapping back in. We can go for the Body Slam right now, and our good friend the Girafarig and Rapidash is going to be able to take this game. So moving on, let's take a look at the next one coming up. We're going to have here right now the Gardevoir against us. Shadow Gardevoir, which is going to be definitely an interesting Pokemon as well for the cup, but the opponent is actually playing the Magical Leaf on this Pokemon. I'm not sure if I should make a video about Magical Leaf Gardevoir. Charm is like 20 times better than Magical Leaf, sadly, for this Pokemon. But definitely an interesting one here, as you're going to just use your shield, farm them down, get an energy advantage, have the same amount of shields as my opponent. And we're going to have a great time here, as we now going to see the Oranguru coming in, where we can now try to punish them with just one Mega Horn. But they're going to decide to shield this move up, so I decide to swap into my Victini, which can at least go for the neutral, damage output with both my fast as well as my charge move. So I'm gonna go for an overheat, which maybe was a mistake. Maybe I should have went for the V-Create, but like this I can still survive at least a foul play from the opponent, which was my main thought process. And yes, you actually kind of want to have overheat as well as a V-Create. V-Create is your main move to go for the Victini, but overheat actually does a little bit more damage if you just get to one move, as well as you drop your attack, not your defenses, which can be very decent. For example here, where I was able to still survive and get another move off against the opponent. But let's take a look at this one. I'm going to now swap out into my Claydol, predicting that the opponent would swap out, sniping the opponent's Gardevoir, and like this, they are only left with one more Pokemon, which is going to be the half HP Malamar. And let me see if I want to win this game with my Claydol here, or if I want to win this with my Rapidash in the back. We will see right now that I can still go for this Scorching Sands, and Claydol is going to take some victories here right now, which is really cool to see. Claydol itself, very cool Pokemon actually. The issue just for this Pokemon is the fast move. You have either Confusion or you have Mud Step on this Pokemon. You really need something that generates energy a little bit faster. And I'm fairly certain this Pokemon actually would have some play if you would have something like Mud Shot, which I don't think it actually learns. So like it would need like a new move. For example, what I actually would like to see as a move in the game would be something like Rapid Spin, which would be also very cool for Fortress, for a lot of different Pokemon. Just as a very low damage, high energy move, something like this. It would be really cool to be seen. But I might actually make a video about potential moves that could come into the game, which might help out the game. So if you want to see this, feel free to leave a like and let me know in the comment section as well. As, I'm of course always making some kind of more, I don't know, advanced content for PvP as well on my channel, where I try to look at upcoming Pokemon, upcoming moves, changes that could help out the meta, stuff like this. And I think a lot of people enjoy this. I only really started doing it recently, and I think it's a great change for my channel. But here we're gonna now see the opponent having their Slowbro still, which is definitely a threat for this line, or like in general, especially the Slowking is actually really awkward to deal with for this team, as Slowking is a very, very strong Pokemon in the current meta, maybe even the strongest one, as the Galarian version, of course, only. The Galarian version is able to go for a Hex as well as Surf, which is just very strong in the current meta, and he can still go for another charge move against the Malamar, but sadly, this will not be enough to get the knockout here or the KO against the opponent, so we're going to be forced to take this L here, as the opponent played this very well. Maybe I could have played it a little bit better as well though, but it is fine. As we can now move on into the next game, we're going to see another Malamar in the lead. Great lead for us, as our Rapidash is going to be able to win this usually, and you see me going straight for the Body Slam here right now. The reason for this is, as the opponent swapped out, if the opponent went for their body slam before I go for my own first charge move, basically they negate the 1-turn disadvantage that they had because they had to swap out, which I didn't want to happen. So if you lock in a charge move, basically you guarantee that you can deny a fast move from the opponent because they had to take this 1 extra turn to swap out, which really helps you on the long run, which you're going to see right now as well. I'm going to be able to get all this matchup with the body slam stored, swapping into my Victini. Getting the full farm down here is really important, to be fair, as I can now go for a V-Create. This should do around 60% damage against the opponent, as I can move on to another one. But they want to swap in their own Victini. You see my IV spread on the right side, so you also know that I'm most likely going to win CMP, as I am a very attack-rated Victini. Not gonna lie there, like, my IV spread is not really for the defensive side, which is kind of nice, but also we are not really close to 1500 CP with my Victini, so you don't need a great Victini in general for this team. Also, if you have a Victini in general, you don't even need to double move it. So, like, if you want to play this cup, you can just go for a V-Create only Victini with quick attack, and you're going to save some Stardust. It's a very cheap Pokemon to use, and definitely something that you can try to do if you have one, definitely already. Definitely something that you can try to take a look at, as you're going to be able to snipe the opponent here with our Rapidash, winning us the game against the Melema, and we can move on to the next game. We're going to have the Rapidash against a Claydol as well. So, fellow Claydol user right now against us, as we're gonna be able to go for the Mega Horn against them. And usually I'm going to bait, and I'm also going to bait here right now, which is not really ideal, as you're going to see. They're going to call this bait, and I decide now to go for the Mega Horn, expecting that they think that's just a body slam again, but actually they decide to shield this move up, so great play by the opponent here, but I'm still going to be able to get to another body slam, which will allow me to get them low. And like this, I'm gonna at least be able to get them into a farm down range for my own Claydol, which is going to be nice. As I'm forced to use a shield here, of course, they have access to the move Shadow Ball, which would be super effective, so I cannot let this move go through. And I cannot go for the full farm down against them, as we're going to have some extra energy, but I'm going to swap out, as they have their Rapidash in the back. Let's see what they're going to have in the back afterwards, which is actually going to be interesting. I think that's also a team from my top team video. So we're gonna now see that they have to take this V-Create, which is going to be decent for us, especially as I went for the Mega Horn before. And they're going to swap out into the Gardevoir, which of course is not the ideal matchup for the Gardevoir. Yeah, that's totally easy win for us here right now, just basically based on the team matchup, to be fair, because Victini was just easily able to destroy the opponent entirely here. And also, I don't think even that you had to go for a Mega Horn, by the way. I think it would have been enough to just go for one Body Slam. But Claydol is a very bulky Pokemon, so we can actually still take a Mega Horn from the, Pokemon here from the opponent, which is going to be nice, as the Scorching Sands gonna get the easy knockout against them. And we can move on to the next game. We're gonna see here right now the opponent's Rapidash against our Rapidash. Our Rapidash has a high attack stat, so I expect that I win CMP basically all the time, which is going to be nice. And I lose CMP here. So the opponent was like, there's some egg-hatched one or something as well. Mine is, I think, traded, so for me that's why it's a little bit below 10 in terms of the attack stat, but also this Pokemon was spawning in the wild for several events already. I never got a good one, but I think a lot of other people got a good one. So, like, if you have a better IV variant of the Rapidash, it's most likely also better for you. But here, I will be able to call everything correctly. I was able to get the knockout against them. Now we're going to see a Girafarig. Actually, an interesting Pokemon for the meta, but not with Confusion. It also learns Tackle, which generates energy at the same pace. Does a little bit less damage, but in a fully Psychic Cup meta, definitely Tackle is the better one to go for, like in general, like with only Psychic type Pokemon. As you're going to encounter Broguiere here, which was the first and only one that I encountered, which I found a little bit strange. Broguiere, very strong Pokemon, very, very overpowered in the current meta. As I'm going to use a shield and go for a body slam against the opponent, I will get the knockout against the Broguiere, and I have now still my Claydol in the back. And I was a little bit scared here, because if they have Trailblaze, I might actually lose this game. But they're gonna go for the Psychic Fangs first, and I'm fairly certain they did not put Trailblaze onto their Girafarig. They still had Thunderbolt on this Pokemon, which is not really that needed on this Pokemon, to be fair. So yeah, we're gonna now see the Scorching Sands going to take the victory for us, and we can move on into the final game of today's video. A little bit of a shorter one, but we're still going to have the top games of the week coming up, most likely in a few hours, as well as we're going to have the Master League plus the Psychic Cup starting later on, so I'm definitely going to make another video for that one as well. So definitely some more shorter videos today, as you might have already seen the top team videos for both Master League as well as the Psychic Cup on my channel. Otherwise, they're going to be on the end card both, so check them out there. But here we're going to now have another mirror with the Rapidash, as they swap out into their Slowbro. Now, I should have swapped out earlier into my, Claydol here already, because Slowbro is way easier to deal with compared to the Slowking for me, as Slowking has access to the move Hex. The Slowbro is relying on the fast move of Poison Jab there, which is of course resisted compared to Hex, which generates energy faster and is not resisted. So here, I will be able to let the next move go through from the opponent, going to be the Body Slam, as I will get off a Scorching Sands against the opponent. That's going to get the shield, which is nice, and they cannot farm me down yet. Claydol is insanely bulky again, so this Pokemon actually is really usable in this cup. It's basically the only cup where it's ever going to be usable though, so definitely take advantage of it, build your own Claydol if you want to, and use Scorching Sands on it, which is definitely the best move for it, because it's actually a cup finally where it has some usage. But we're gonna see another double slow team here with the Slowbro and the Slowking in the back, which is a little bit annoying to deal with, but we can just go for a weak rate against the opponent, which is going to get now the knockout against this one. We can also not outspeed the opponent, but still gonna get to a charge move before they can knock me out, as we still have a shield left, and this is going to be it for the final game. So I only take one loss, I think, with this team, which is really nice. So very solid team if you want to play the Psychic Cup later on, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, check out the top team videos on the screen right now, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.